major update in 1917. As the engines got larger, they had to bump out the back wall and open it up a little bit. It still barely is big enough for the Micados to fit in there. Again, everything here is indigenous to here. It wasn't brought here. You know, it's very much different than Strasbourg. The buildings, the equipment, everything has always been here. So we have 6 steam engines, all are Micados, which is a 282 wheel arrangement. The oldest one is the number 12. This was built in 1911. That was the first of the 282s. They liked that wheel arrangement, so they ordered the 14 and 15. Then it's the 16, 17, 18. The 16 is the first that is a modern engine as far as superheating and piston valves versus the slide valve setup. As rare as all this stuff is, the M1 behind you guys, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with, is by far the rarest piece we have. It's a one-off. It's the only one in the world. Grill and Westinghouse collaboration with the EBT to build a gas electric motor car. So it's a 1985 cubic inch all aluminum gasoline engine. Goes to a Westinghouse main generator, goes down to traction motors. So for 1927 technology, it's pretty revolutionary. Roller bearings are original, and the traction motors and everything are all original as well. The engine has never been taken out since 1956. It does need a little bit of work, but we're still, we run it quite often. We're running it probably about 10 times this year. Consumes gasoline at an alarming rate. Yeah, it's about $1,000 to run it for a weekend of just gasoline. Wow. So we bring it out. When we do, we want to make it worth our while, you know. We did put a new roof on it last year with a grant from the Emory Trust, helped with that. And again, like I was saying before to a gentleman, I like to backdate everything. The red paint and everything, that's a tourist era deal. The roof was originally gray, so when we put the new linen roof on it, it went back to being gray. Eventually, we will paint it to the original color green as well. There's a much more olive green. It's an old Pullman green instead of this like hunter green almost.
So you said it was linen, so is there some kind of coating on it for waterproofing?
There's wood underneath.
Okay.
So then that's a basically muslin, the same like what they would make like early biplanes out of.
Yeah.
And then it's coated with linseed oil paint to waterproof it.
Okay.
And hopefully not outside of the rain very much anyway.
What's that?
Hopefully not outside of the rain very much anyway.
No, we try and keep everything inside as much as possible.
Yeah, I'll get it later.
Whose bag?
My bag. Unless somebody wants to bring it.
Is the newest of the engines here. So it was built in 1920. It's also the largest. So as you guys walk by, you can really see the difference between the 12 and the 18 as far as size, even though they're technically the same wheel arrangement. It's all 60 feet.
It is 6 18.
Everything's 60 feet. All the 6 distributed valves. This depends what year. I use 6 KRs on everything now because they're easier.
Yeah, that's people don't do that.
Watch your stuff. Come around. Not bad. If everybody wants to keep working this way, we'll pause over here for a minute and get a pretty good shot of the 18 with the middle bay being open here.
We're at the East Broad Top Narrow Gauge 3-foot gauge, the Roundhouse, Rockhill Furnace, Pennsylvania. Thursday, May 9th, 2024.
There are plans for, like, in the future, what would be the next locomotive to go to, or bar, or, we're gonna do them all, man. All right. Thank you.
Our day-to-day operations, we run the 16 out of the center bay here. Obviously, it's easy because we don't have to turn them on the turntable. The big mics, you gotta get them within about 2 inches of either side to get it to balance, to be able to turn the table. So it's not exactly easy. What we end up doing is, we use one of the critters, and we actually pull it outside in the morning and break the bank and start the fire and everything using one of the diesel engines to pull it out. I'm very cognizant of fire, so even with the smoke jacks and the, sorry, my wife texted me. I don't like an engine in here breaking the bank and everything inside. Now, the one thing we do that they didn't do during the tourist area is we bank the engines overnight. So at the end of the day, we bring it in, we have the fire fairly calmed down, it's not a road fire anymore. We'll put anywhere from 30 to 50 scoops of coal, about 3 feet inside the door in a big pile, make it like a volcano, and that'll turn to coke overnight. So when we come in the morning, we'll have a full glass of water still, and probably about 100 pounds on it is what we shoot for. And then we'll bring it outside, start dumping the ash, and break up that bank of coke in there. And basically you got a nice fresh fire again. Then you don't have to pay a night watchman and everything. And really, if you are trained well and you know what you're doing with the engine, banking an engine overnight like that is pretty normal.
You don't want to let the engine cool down too much. You want to put the thermal up and down.
Yeah, thermodynamics are the enemy of steam engines. So you want to try and keep it as hot as possible. Usually when we put an engine into service, we try and keep it hot as long as we can, within reason. Now I do have a portable water heater I built called the Maker Hot, very catchy name, that we'll hook up to it in the winter time when we're only running on the weekends, and that'll circ the water in there and keep it relatively hot, save wear and tear on the sheets on it. Everything that we're doing has to meet all the FRA requirements. So we're doing a daily inspection report. Every 31 days of operating service, the engine comes out. That's a mandatory inspection where we wash the boiler, we look over anything, do all the running repairs, and then those forms are submitted to the FRA. Then you have a 92-day inspection, which is just a little bit more thorough. You have the annual inspection, which is what we're doing now when we found some issues we got to address. And then the 1,472-day inspection, which is like the death of a lot of steam locomotives in the United States. Number one, people don't have the money to redo them. Number two, they don't have the ability to redo them. That's where you got to retube the engine, your UT and the entire boiler, doing all the calculations on it. It's called a Form 4 packet that gets submitted to the FRA. They have to approve it. So there's a lot of in-depth paperwork that goes with this stuff. It's not any kind of fly-by-night deal like it used to be, maybe in the 70s or 80s.
Well, they had that incident, at Gettysburg?
Yeah, Gettysburg single-handedly just about ended steam in the United States. And the man I apprenticed under, Lynn Modinger, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of, he was the president of Strasburg Railroad for years. He's on our board here. He is still my mentor. He works with me just about every week, at least a day or two. He actually testified before Congress to help make the new steam rules and keep steam running in the country. But we are inconvenienced to the FRA, and it's only going to be one accident, and that's probably going to be the end of steam in the United States. They are not big fans of steam locomotives. Now, I actually sit on the NBIC committee, which is the national board. It's the equivalent of the ASME that regulates this stuff and helps make the rules on steam engines, because we're trying to regulate some of these people that have them, that it's not that they're doing things wrong purposely, they're not educated on what needs to happen. So we act as a educational more than a regulatory. We're not like OSHA, we're not trying to bang somebody on this and fine them. We're trying to help them and educate them. But there is some contractors out there not necessarily doing the right things, and that is a major problem in our industry.
Alrighty.
Any questions?
Could you just mention your name and title again for my YouTube?
Dave Domitrovich, I'm the master mechanic.
Thank you,
So
Dave.
that's the historic name of the chief mechanical officer.
Thank you.
Modern term would be CMO. Okay, we are going to go this way.
Again, East Broad Top Railroad, the Roundhouse, Rockhill Furnace, Pennsylvania, Thursday, May 9th, 2024, over and out.